Welcome back, everyone. This is the FloTrack podcast on a Monday morning. I'm Kevin. He's Gordon. Our email address, flotrackpodcast@gmail.com. Like and subscribe to the FloTrack podcast YouTube page. This is our one and only episode for this week. It's the holidays. We're back from NCAAs. Travel took way longer than it should have. I'm not going to bore people with the details, but let's just say it took us 2 days to get where? Like what would have been a 90-minute flight, 75-minute flight, took us 2 days to get back. But we're back. How you doing, Gordon?
I'm doing great. Today is a great Monday. I'm wearing flannel with the blue shirt, but if you look closely, bam, it's World Cup season, baby.
It's a soccer ball.
It's a soccer ball.
For those of you who aren't watching, you have to say what it is. You can't say bam. No one knows what that is.
World Cup starts for the U.S. in what, 40 minutes?
43 minutes. We could do some live reaction to the U.S. Well, actually, we don't have a TV in here, so we are not going to do a live reaction. We might end the show before the game starts, actually.
That's the goal, technically.
We'll see
what we do. But USA is playing Wales. Did some little track and field research. If you listen to the bonus pod, which you guys should subscribe, bonus pod, we did a track and field World Cup mashup, who would win if it was a track meet instead of a World Cup. But we have our first matchup, Wales versus U.S. You know, last time Wales versus U.S. faced off in track and field?
Matt Centrowitz versus Jake Hayward.
Yes, at the track meet in 2021.
You sure that's the last time you looked through every Welsh athlete? I don't know if that's true.
No, I just looked for a notable Welsh athlete who got second and lost to an American. And this was the result, which wasn't that long ago. Everyone remembers this race. This was Centro's coming out, coming off an injury, looking good. We're like, oh, Centro's back. Got the whole Centro versus Cole Hawker vibe going. This was like that moment where we're like, oh, Centro's legit. But he wins that race in 3:33 over Jake Hayward in 3:34.
Yeah.
Are we going to see a similar tactic in this men's World Cup that we saw in this random 1500 in Irvine, California?
Well, I'll say this. I saw England just crush it this morning.
Against Iran, yeah.
And that kind of tracks with, although a lot of the best milers are Scottish, not English, but that just tracks with, and Keely Hodgkinson, right? Keely Hodgkinson is from England. That tracks with their level of dominance. I don't know if Wales is going to be up to the task. I'm predicting 1-0. That's my prediction. It's going to be closer than the U.S. would like, but they'll prevail.
Is Mark Scott English?
I think he's Scottish.
Is he? Are you sure? We should know that. Because if he's English, he got third in this race. So this is a good omen for USA because Centro beat Hayward and Scott. You know, it's looking good for our week of soccer coming up. But we'll see.
Jeez.
It's hard.
Someone will know.
Someone will know.
I guess I'll go back. I'll have to go back and look. The way I did it before is I would look at Commonwealth Games results and see if they were with Scotland, Wales.
He's British. He's British. So look at that.
That doesn't help. We need to know if they're Scottish, English, or Welsh.
Oh, sorry.
British doesn't help.
British doesn't help.
Britain is not in the World Cup.
I don't know the rules.
England is in the World Cup. Wales is in the World Cup.
Podcast's getting off to a great start.
Yeah, it's off to a great. We're gonna let you.
I'm running the podcast.
I'm gonna let you take over. Oh, hold on. Update.
The chat
from David. Scott is English.
Scott's English. Okay. So boom, he beats. Centro could be like our
lead in the group.
He should he should be the captain. Anyway, today's podcast, you do not know the rundown. I did not tell you anything. Clearly, you didn't because I started off with this random England versus Wales versus US 1500s. But you don't know the rundown. I picked the stories. If you look into the podcast headline, we are going to be talking about winners and losers from NCAAs, some last-minute thoughts on the meet that went down on Saturday. We did do a immediate reaction podcast Saturday, so if you want that breakdown, it's fun. We're freezing cold in a random media room, but check that out. But we're going to add a little more flavor to our reactions, and then also we're going to give our 2023 picks. Because, funny story here, we were in the airport. You were with me, so you're part of the story. You just didn't engage in it.
We're talking 2 days ago?
2 days ago in the airport, we're talking to two of the coaches.
Oh, yeah.
And I immediately, before the ink is dry on who won, I was like, all right, so here's who I think is going to win next year. And they're like, Gordon, can't we just enjoy this? I was like, no, I want to talk about next year already. Okay. Before we even got on the plane to leave home, I was already talking about next year. But that's just sports. You always want to talk about next year.
Sure. So Judson asked before we start, can you do a podcast on who's not in the World Cup? I think we do that. Just list Scotland.
Yeah.
Not in the World Cup. Italy.
Not
in the World Cup.
Tamberry goes home devastated.
That's all I got.
Is Canada in the World Cup?
Yeah, Canada did well in qualifying.
No, he's not. Is Costa Rica in the World Cup?
I think the U.S. teams or the CONCACAF teams are
okay.
Mexico, U.S. Yeah, Costa Rica is the fourth one.
They are? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Anyway, so we're going to do a rundown that you don't know. Yeah. You're going to have to react to the stories I show you, and we're going to start with some track stories before we get into cross-country analysis.
Sure, let's do it.
So news happened over the weekend. Garrett Scantlin, one of the best decathletes, not only in the U.S., but in the world, was banned for 3 years due to manipulating an email. Have you ever tried to manipulate an email?
No. Didn't this already come out, but we didn't know the length of the suspension?
Correct.
Right, because
it was 4, got down to 3.
Yeah, it was a late scratch, right? Wasn't on the entry list, and then we knew something was up, and then you find out later on that there is a suspension. AIU is really serious about like the manipulation portion of it. Not to say that if you have whereabouts failures and you are upfront about it, that you're going to get a pass, but we've seen several times now additional years get tacked on, or at least less leniency being shown for manipulating information on there. So the quote, I can read it here.
Go for it.
If I could, yeah.
Yes.
This is NBC Olympic Talk. Just such an unfortunate situation. I worked so hard to get in the position that I was in, but one mistake alters the whole culture of my career. I own it, take responsibility, no matter how harsh the consequences may seem for a clean athlete. Now I'm going to start training youth and keep building my coaching resume while I take care of my body for a possible, all caps, return in 2025. But for now, I'm just trying to move on and be happy with what I've accomplished so far in my life, knowing that I still have so much left to go. Again, that was to NBC.
Yeah. It's a bummer because especially when it comes down to like, it's not even positive tests. It's whereabout failures. It's the communication. It's, ooh, crap, I need to lie about why I missed this one test. And maybe you're lying because you just don't want the whereabouts failure, not because you're actually doping. And that's why it's like sometimes we get through this whole thing. I mean, the whole like Brianna Rollins with the whole like she was at the White House during a whereabouts failure, right? Wasn't she?
The first time around.
First time. Yeah. It's just like all these unique things happen here and there. And it's a bummer that this is how potentially his career could come to an end. I mean, he did say possible 2025, but.
Yeah, 3 years at this stage of career is devastating.
It's a long time.
Obviously. But I think if there's one thing being made clear from this era of anti-doping enforcement, it's that whereabouts failures are taken incredibly seriously because we've seen more of that than just positive tests, which makes sense that you'd see more of that than positive tests, because the reason why you need to have a whereabouts situation or whereabouts system in place is so that people are present for the tests. But I don't know if we're going to keep up with this pace. We've obviously seen a lot of positive tests come in too, just especially on the road side of things, particularly in Kenya, over the past 4 to 6 weeks. But it just, the cost benefit analysis is getting pretty clear here. I mean, he owns up to it, right? And he's also very clear-eyed about what comes next. It's like you're out for 3 years. That's going to set you way back, and you're competing in a sport like track and field where it's hard enough to make a living. It's difficult to go 3 years without being able to make a living while also staying in good enough shape so that way you can have a comeback. So
we also have this other weird story. I'm not sure if you saw this, but a bunch of Nigerian athletes are facing long imprisonment over a Yahoo. What that means? I had to do some research and digging in, but basically they were scamming, allegedly scamming people on the internet for like fake charities, fake fundraisers type things, and that these Nigerian athletes are caught up in this whole scheme, and they got caught. I'm not sure. They say it's like up to like 20 years in prison, which is insane. The allegations, they knowingly engaged in this type of fraudulent activity online, and if you're knowingly doing it, then that makes it a lot worse than if you're not unknowingly do it. But I mean, it's interesting, one, because they're track and field athlete, but Raymond Akevo, I say his last name? Ekvewo, he was really good. He transferred to Florida as was he on the Florida's NCAA winning 4x1?
Yeah.
Great Nigerian athlete. So it's kind of a bummer. Hopefully we'll see what happens if it's, obviously it's just allegations right now. Nothing is final, but it's kind of crazy.
Well, I saw this story, and the article I read was short on details. It was more just like, this is what the law is, this is what they're accused of doing, but it didn't get into the details, so I'm definitely going to need to read more on that one. But yeah, very serious charges, and also interesting that they all had track and field. I mean, I'm sure there's other people that were involved that weren't involved in track and field, but what do you say, 5?
Yeah.
5 athletes with connections to, competed at big time schools, all involved in this stuff. Not good.
Not good. Would people manipulating whereabouts failures? People manipulating fundraisers and online scams. Just stay off the internet. Don't just use snail mail and you'll be good.
Yeah.
That's the lesson I'm learning. If you're a track and field athlete, don't log on.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah. Thomas says, 2019, 37.97 4x1 for Kvewo. So, and someone in chat says he had a deal currently with Nike. So that's tough. And we'll see what else comes from this. I mean, I'm sure there's, like I said, other people involved. So when you look at the amount of prison time, sometimes that's not exactly indicative of what they'll actually get, especially if there's other information that could be provided. But that's not a story that you expect to see like in the track and field section.
Yeah, that's the new square on the bingo card.
Yeah, that's like, wait, what?
Whereabouts failures is in the middle. That's like the free spot that everyone clicks on all the time.
Yeah.
But this is like 075.
Yeah.
This is like down in the corner.
Did not
expect to get that
coming. So again, I want to wait and get a little more info on exactly what is alleged, but yeah, that was an attention grabber for sure.
All right, talk a little bit about some cross country. So I want to take this moment because, as you know, NAU, when they won their 6th title in 7 years.
Yeah.
They won 3 in a row, then got second, and then won 3 in a row. Now, you might think, like, we haven't seen that before. We actually have seen it before. It's similar. UTEP did it, I believe. So they tied UTEP for getting 6 out of 7,
yeah.
the men.
Yeah.
But something else happened this past weekend. My alma mater, Johns Hopkins University, the women, they won their 8th title in 10 years.
Wow.
Technically 11, but one of the years was a COVID year, so there was no race. With one of the losses being by 1 point, and then the other loss was a 4th place finish. They did a 3-peat, then 4th, then a 2-peat,
oh wow,
then a
you got
second,
the stats
and then a 3-peat again.
You typed this into
8 for 10.
Microsoft Word. You were that serious about it.
8 for 10.
Congrats to them. I mean,
that's impressive.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. That's dominance. If you know anything about D3 women's cross, it's Johns Hopkins. Of late, especially too.
Think about this. There was probably a freshman on this year's team who was like 7 when this started.
Yeah, exactly.
Had never even ran a mile yet. There's people who had yet to run a mile in 2012 who are winning the national title under Bobby Van Allen in 2022.
You got a lot of dynasties though, like on D2, D3.
Yeah.
Right? Like Western State and Alamosa or
North Central.
Adams State. Yeah, North Central and D3. Central, yep. Yeah. So,
but, dude, 8 out of 10.
It's pretty good. You're a happy alum today.
I'm very happy.
I thought you'd be wearing Johns Hopkins gear, and
I'm wearing blue.
Okay.
This is USA.
Yeah.
And then soccer. I have a lot going on.
They're the
and this is Lumberjacks, which is NAU too. So
you didn't go to NAU. They're the engineers. They are the Johns Hopkins engineers.
Johns Hopkins engineers. That's Lehigh University.
Oh.
Used to be engineers. No, it's the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
Go Hop.
Go Hop.
Hopkins.
Oh, Johns Hopkins. In Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland. Some say greatest city in America, according to the benches all over the
really?
park.
Oh, yeah, nice.
The benches in Baltimore all have the phrase "greatest city in America."
So not like GOAT, but greatest GCIA.
It's great. It is a great city.
That acronym needs to catch on.
Good old Baltimore. So so Johns Hopkins goes 8 for 10.
Yeah,
which is very impressive. You could never do that in your life.
No,
but Johns Hopkins did. So I just want everyone to know I'm very proud of my alum. NAU though going 6 for 7.
Gonna donate extra money this month?
They do find a way to. They send the emails. They get the calls. So NAU goes 6 for 7. And I was looking at this 6 for 7. That's a 857 win rate, right? And I was looking into the rosters.
857.
How many athletes do you think were on the NCAA teams for NAU during this run?
Say it again now. What's the question?
How many individual runners, were on an NAU squad that was part of this 7-year run?
Oh,
total.
So the max could be what, 49, right?
Yeah, but
those repeats, 28.
There's 19.
Okay.
Okay, and you know what I did last night? I ranked them.
Oh, okay.
I ranked the NAU dynasty athletes, and I want you to give your thoughts on my rankings.
Jeez.
So if you scroll down, Colt, to the bottom, and we'll bring up the first one. So first of all, I'm going to show you the rankings we have from 11 to 19 of my NAU dynasty rankings.
All right.
And I don't know what your thoughts are. And if you can, put some memories in your going back to 2016 days. So let's start with the 11 through 19. The last one is Colin Solomon. He just started. So, and he didn't do too well, but he's 19. Theo Quacks, who's like notorious. He's like a great team leader, but he just hasn't really been involved much with scoring. 18. Yeah. Ryan Raff. Now I feel bad ranking him 17.
Gotta bump him up.
I do,
bump him up. He's got 4 rings.
He has the vibe, but he's not scoring. He doesn't score.
Doesn't matter. 4 rings.
But he's 17.
I can count to 4.
Yeah.
Ryan can count to 4.
I put Corey Glines and Nathan White's 15, 16. They were part of that 2016 squad. Andy Chouard, NCAA champion, 3K.
Yeah.
He could have been higher, but he wasn't really a good cross-country guy. He would always finish in like the 30s to 40s.
He was an important piece in that first one, if I'm remembering right. Yeah.
I mean, everyone's important because he
scored in the 30s. So. Yeah.
And then another miler, Beamish. So Beamish, I do a run of miler. So Chouard, Beamish, and George Koosh are my 12, 13, and 14. And then Santiago Prosser. I mean, he had
already?
They don't win if he's not there.
Okay, so is this value?
There's value. Value. So, so the rankings are 11 Prosser, then Kusha, Beamish, Chouard, Whites, Glines, Raff, Quacks, and Solomon. That's my 11 through 19.
Okay. I mean, I would put Prosser lower and probably Beamish and Chouard higher, even though Prosser ran.
Beamish, though, 2019.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
That matters.
Do they get docked? Like, if you're on 2019, do you get docked because you're the one team that didn't win?
Well, if you're on 2019 and you didn't run as well, you get docked.
Okay. All right, I could see that.
Okay.
So then 6 to 10?
6 to 10.
Or 10 countdown?
Yeah, so 10th, I have Blaze Farrow.
Okay.
He was a big part of that 2017 and 18 team.
Sure.
And also the 2020 team, which was dominating. They were part of that big four. Grijalva's 9th. Brody Hasty, 8th. Now, he doesn't have any sexy top 20 performances, but he has a lot of great top 40 performances, and he scores well. And then Drew Bosley, 7, and Peter Lamong, 6. What are your thoughts on these rankings?
I mean, Peter Lamong was always clutch. I like that one. Bosley, I think if they win in 2019, his stock would get even higher because he was a good freshman. He held down the floor as a freshman, but what he did on Saturday really set the table. Hasty, I think
should be higher.
Maybe a little bit higher, but everybody else,
it's hard.
It's so good, but that's a well-earned 8th. I gave somebody the moniker of Big Race, and then that person's name started with a B this year. If I go back and do it again, I think that should have gone to Big Race Brody. Because you look at his whole career.
Big Race Brody. It is, yeah.
He's clutch.
It's right on your nose this whole time.
You're talking about a guy who, highly touted high school career, comes into this juggernaut program and just plugs away and can always count on him when it matters. Big Race Brody. I think
he's new, and maybe he'll come back next year.
Yeah,
he does have a 5th year.
Yeah,
Big Race Brody. So 6 Lamong, 7 Bosley, 8 Hasty, 9 Grijalva, and 10 Farrow. Grijalva probably would have been higher if he ran well in 2019, but still top 10. It's pretty good. All right, my top 5. Number 5, Abdi Hamid Nur. 4, Tyler Day. 3, Futsum Zena Salazi. 2, Matt Baxter. And then 1, Nico Young.
So Nico's got 3. Let me just run through these real quickly. Right? Baxter had 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
Zena Salazi had
1.
But
it was his 5th year.
But
he was top 3 individually the other years.
He was absolute star. Yeah.
Day has 3.
3. Nur.
3.
Nur had 3?
No, 2.
2.
Nur has 2.
I just feel like
Young has the highest finish.
And we've already had, it's just so weird how time flies. We've already had 3 years of Nico Young and NCAA cross. Like that's crazy to think about because Baxter just a rock out there. all the time. Same thing with Day. So are Nico's finishes better than Futsum's when you add all three?
So
up?
I did some analytics. Okay, so
analytics is math for
so
Gordon. If you do any sort of basic computation,
so I did
analytics.
team score only results, so not So team score only results. So if you score 1 point, you get 217 points. If you score 2 points, you get 216. If you score 3,
okay.
So I've added value. So Nico Young has averaged 213 points, 213.3 in his 3 races.
Yeah.
Baxter has averaged 210.3. Futsum has averaged 210 over 4 though, over 4 championships.
Gotcha.
So because
4 championship meets, not 4 titles.
Futsum's freshman year, he was like 20th or something like that.
Okay.
So that brings his average down. But yeah, they're all in the we've all finished top 5
close.
Type thing.
So Nico makes it by just a couple, but he's got another year to
make the average even higher.
Yeah. No, I think I might be right. It just in my head, it's just Baxter and Day and Zenith Selassie are just the guys who were,
But Young is 3 for 3 right now and is finishing like top 10 every time.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously they needed...
And he's going to win again. They might win again.
Well, you talk about replacement level stuff too. They obviously needed... They don't win without Nico Young. They needed everybody, but particularly Nico Young, their number 1 guy. Yeah. He drops back a couple spots.
There's only been a couple of years where they didn't win. They could take someone out and still win. But lately, they needed all 5. They haven't had a good 6 lately.
But there's some of those years when Day could have scored 10 more points and they would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like Nico needed to get every single place that he got. Nurin 5. Yeah, I think this is fine. I guess my only qualms would be 11 to 19, but those guys are probably all very close together. I might put Bosley over Lamong, but you'd have to tell me the numbers on Bosley v. Lamong.
Yeah, Bosley is probably should be over Lamong, but Lamong's 2017 like top 10 finish, no one saw coming.
Yeah.
You're just like, God damn, like, pulling a rabbit out of your hat type run. It was like Prosser on steroids. It's like, not only not top 20, but top 10. Like, no one had Lamong top 10. He was going to be like 50th.
Yeah.
And so
Hasties results 25th, 39th. I'm going backwards in time. 44th, 46th. And then, yeah. Got 3 titles there, too. Underrated.
So that's my official
I like that.
dynasty rankings of the NAU men.
I like it. It's impressive. It just shows you how good the current group is. Because then you go back to that list one more time, Colt, if you could. Sorry. So you have a guy you think 11, 12 scoring from this year's team, and then you have 2 in the top 10, or 2 from 6 to 10, and then 1 in the top 5, which is Nico Young. Yeah, makes sense. It was cool to see all the alums there as well. It's because you have the Day and Baxter were there, then you have Grijalva and Nerd there. You just see the next generation.
And then now it's going to be Nico and Drew. They always have like a pair,
Yeah. Cool. I mean, obviously all of them ran out of their mind. I was just impressed with Bosley being able to.
Yeah.
I think because if you run that race, if you're watching that race and you see Nico up front and Bosley's farther back, even if he's running really well in 10 or 15, you just feel different about their chances. But when they have 2 of the top 3, just wow, that's his like statement early on. Like by 2K, everybody was like, "Oh, this is 2017 already, all over again." So,
all right. So now let's talk about this meet one last time. This is the final time we can talk about the 2022 NCAA Championships. Kevin, obviously the winner was Caitlin Toohey in NC State and Charles Hicks in NAU because they actually won the race. But who's the real winner?
The friends you made along the way.
The real winner. Let's start the women's side. Who are the real winners on the women's side? Obviously taking out Caitlin Toohey and NC State because they actually won the race.
So other winners?
Other winners, yeah.
I thought Alabama fared really well. Not to overlook New Mexico, but we expected that from New Mexico. They're just a well-oiled machine at this point. They've won their conference, 15, 16 years in a row, and that's not an easy conference to win. But I was just impressed by Alabama, especially Hilda Momoy. Olamomoy, who is going to be one of the top returners coming back. Well, I guess everybody's underclassmen technically, but in her first D1 championship, she gets 6th and leads the Crimson Tide. I think she's got a really bright future. Not a lot of people knew about her coming in because she was a JUCO transfer. And then, again, you don't know how many people are going to stay for Alabama, but when you have 4 in the top 16, only one of those for sure is gone in Mercy Chilangat. Their future looks real bright. So that's one team and one name that jumped out to me. Hilda Olamomoy in Alabama.
So one team that was a winner in my book was the North Carolina women. North Carolina women, they finished 5th, 242 points. Now, it was a distance 5th. They weren't close to podiuming, but you look at their roster. It is. So, Cole, if you just click on North Carolina on the thing, look at that roster. They were led by 6 sophomores and 1 freshman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
6 sophomores and 1 freshman. Kelsey Harrington was their top stick, scoring 15 points. Bryn Brown, we remember her from her great high school days, still finished almost All-American, 2 slots out for All-American. But I look at this roster. Taryn Parks, she was their 7th runner. Mm-hmm. I'm like, whoa, Taryn Parks, she was one of their better runs last year. Dude, they have a lot of depth. They're all young. Chris Miltenberg has done a great job at getting these women, this program, from not qualifying to now having a good group of young core athletes that, they are going to be potentially maybe in line to win the 2024 title. Like, they're going to be a podium.
2024. So we're skipping 2023?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because NC State's winning.
Just want to make sure. So we're going the way too early predictions.
There's no way you can say this team is going to beat NC State next year. Come on, let's just be real. But you look at this, all sophomores. They're going to have a good run. They're probably going to be in podium contention. Maybe they get their first podium next year. And then the year after that, they're going to return everyone and be like, hey, watch out. This is going to be the year they can win.
Yeah. Dylan Sorensen leading up the women's team over there. You said, him and Milt.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Just want to make sure.
Program-wise.
Give him a shout out.
Yeah. But Milt brought on Dylan and
To your point, though, the recruiting has been really good.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of big-name high school athletes to go down to Chapel Hill. They had an interesting race, too. And I know you look at the split sometimes, and it's deceiving because there's such a huge pack. Like, oh, man, they moved from 9th all the way up to 3rd, and it can just be a matter of your pack made up just, a couple meters.
Yeah.
But there were so many people in that spot. But they were way up in 3rd at the split right before 3K, the 2.83K split.
Classic
which
split.
Is a crucial split. And then they went back, and then they were in at the 4K split. They slid back to 6th, and then before 5K, they were still in 6th. So you're thinking, okay, are they just going to keep moving back? But they held their own against some really solid teams. Teams you thought could podium in NAU and Notre Dame. You thought they had podium hopes, and North Carolina worked their way in. So I thought that was good. I said this on Saturday, but I'll say it again. This was true for the individual race, men's and women's, but team race at the top, NC State and everybody else. But just plans really won on Saturday. That was a big winner. Like having a very, very structured, detailed, confident race plan, I think won out in the end because we saw individually how that worked out with Tui letting Valby go and then closing. But I think NC State, I think North Carolina is a good pick too for kind of an under the radar winner. Should we go to the men's side?
No, I got another winner.
Okay.
Say you're an athlete, you're a female athlete, and you finish 172nd in your first NCAA championships. And then you're like, all right, it's just the first one. I'll be fine. The next one, you finish 131st.
Mm-hmm.
So you improve, but you're still you're not there. And then the next one, you're injured. You don't even get to go.
Mm.
So you're like back-to-back 100 place plus finish. Then you're injured. And then your senior year, you finish 29th.
Mm.
And you're one of the main reasons your team wins the title. That is Nevada Marino. She had an incredible run that I don't even, no one saw this coming. I mean, obviously they had so much depth that they were interchangeable. So this is why NC State was so good. It's because you could get this performance and it makes up for someone else not being as good. But for her, in her final NCAA championship, where she had no experience of being a top 30 type runner, she runs top 30, which ultimately was the main I mean, obviously every point matters, especially your top two, but seeing Nevada Marino score in the 30s, or I guess
20s.
in the 20s,
24
was, I thought, the biggest winner of the winner. They were the winners, but she was the winner of the winner.
Winner of the winners.
Winner of the winners.
Very good. Should we talk about the men's side?
Yeah, let's talk about the men's side. We'll do losers after. We'll do winners first and then losers.
So the men's side, Wake Forest, I thought sneaking in there to get 5th, but not really sneaking there because you tabbed them early on of, hey, this is a sleeper type team. They were 9 points back of Stanford. I thought that was a really impressive run for them. Talk about journeys. You talked about it on the women's side of things. Isai Rodriguez has had a really long and eventful journey out in Stillwater, and I know they came up a point short, but for him to finish 8th after all the injuries, the car accident, everything he's been through, you have all the expectations on you after what he did that first year out in Madison and being in the mix in that race and surprising us all. I thought we don't give enough credit sometimes to just the really solid performance for your team when they need it most, and I thought that's what he delivered on Saturday. Ultimately, it wasn't quite enough just because NAU ran the perfect race. But I guess team-wise, I'd say Wake Forest individually. Rodriguez and Masawi of Oklahoma State too, man. 12th place, freshman.
Masawi's he's a redshirt freshman.
Okay, but it says freshman by his name. I'm going to give him credit.
Finished
12th.
Who's the top true freshman?
The top true freshman. Well, it's tough to figure out out eligibility these days.
I know, right? Top true freshman. Still going.
Wow.
Wait, where is the
You
top
got to go way down there.
We're still scrolling. I'm at the 58.
I think Masawi gets it, even though he's a red shirt. He gets it honorary.
Oh, yeah, Isaiah Stewart.
Oh, Isaiah Stewart, yep.
Is he a true freshman, though? Let's double check.
I remember him in high school. Notre Dame freshman. He finished 63rd.
Yeah, he's a true freshman. So, that's kind of wild. Only the top true freshman was 63rd.
But isn't that the result of COVID stuff and everybody having extra years of eligibility, and that's going to push people down a little bit farther?
No, I mean, we still had, Flitsom was a true freshman, finished top 20. Grant Fisher, you have Ben Sorrell. You have a bunch of people who have Ches. Mm-hmm. You have a bunch of people who there might always be one person. Drew Bosley was good as a true freshman.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nico Young. Typically, we do at least get one top 20 or top 25 guy, but this year we had no one even in the top 50.
Yeah.
So it's a unique year. And we thought Colin Solomon was going to be that person.
Yeah.
Clearly, the 10K is a little much for him right now, early on in his career. But what do you think the money was with Isaiah Stewart being?
Well, you would have said Solomon at the beginning of the year.
But Stewart, he's plus 1,500.
Stewart he's a big name guy in high school. I remember hearing his name in high school. So that's not terribly surprising. A lot of times the biggest deal high school runner their freshman year isn't necessarily going to be the best in college right away, or people get better in the off season. So, yeah. I guess do I have any other? I mean, I talked about Bosley ad nauseum. That was just again a clutch run for him to deliver and get 3rd and go up there and help out Nico Young, and they needed it. They needed it. I mean, he held on there in the end. If he slows down by 3 more seconds and Dylan Jacobs and Alex Mayer pass him, we're talking about an Oklahoma State title. Gordon's not ranking the best NAU.
I'd still rank it.
Cross country athletes of all time. You'd say, man, they got close. They got 2nd. That's crazy.
Any other winners on the men's side? I'm trying to find another team winner. Texas was ranked 28th, and they finished 18th according to the coaches poll.
Mm-hmm.
Butler was 30th and finished 21st. I don't really know.
Yeah, the top 4 on both sides was the
what
4 we thought,
yeah.
And then the people surrounding them, it wasn't too far off.
Yeah. All right, losers. My favorite subject. First of all, we need to put a disclaimer.
Disappointment.
Some people can't handle the word losers. If we call them a loser, they get upset.
Well, you're going to like where I go with this.
Okay, what are you going to say? Room for improvement? I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
My first loser is you and me. Because we got destroyed in the fantasy draft by the chat.
The chat,
The chat needs to take a bow. I didn't want to put the chat in the winner category. I wanted to save it and put you and I in the losers.
Okay, I'll take that.
Because we got destroyed. I've done fantasy drafts for any number of sports over a bunch of years. I've never gotten beaten this badly. They went 1, 2, 3 in the men's race. And then I thought afterwards, how did we let the chat get those 3? Now we're doing men's and women's, so there was a different strategy there.
Yeah.
But who won the women's?
They did.
Yeah, they did. We got absolutely embarrassed. And I know I could say, so I'm going to share it, though. I'm not just going to say you are the biggest loser. I'm going to say we are the biggest losers.
Well, are we, though? Is the real loser Colt? Because he was dead last.
Colt had a strategy. He went in hard, Big 12, past, present, and future. And future, too. He really invested. He loved his conference. Colt, have you had a chance to reflect on what went wrong on Saturday?
I mean, it was not a good showing for the Big 12 for sure, but I got to stick to my guns. I got to continue to support the conference, you know.
Okay.
Respect.
So, but they didn't do that bad because on the men's side, Oklahoma State, current member, BYU, future member, go 2-3. Women, Oklahoma State was fourth. You had a lot of Colorado runners out there as well, too. But listen, no one was going to hang with the chat.
Yeah.
The chat
was over.
Was
after
primed to win this thing. What did they score when you combine the genders together? 17 or something?
Yeah, if you combine, scored 17 points. You combine the genders.
They almost perfect.
Because they had 1, 2, 3 on the men's side. So.
Yeah. Just, again, an embarrassing show by us. Yes, they did good, so they get a lot of credit, but also we're the ones drafting the team.
The prize was the winner gives Colt $5.
So now you and I have to
how many people? No, how many people are in the chat?
That was
right
today?
Now, just right now at this moment.
Right now at this moment, 132.
Okay, so what's 132 divided by 5? Or 5 divided by 132?
Oh, David says he's going to take responsibility.
So
for
we need everyone to Venmo Colt 3.7 cents.
No. No, David said he's going to take care of it.
All right.
So he seems like a man of his word. So if not, we will get Colt to $5. Kurt says you could have just picked all Oklahoma State. Yeah, you could have just, if you're going to go Big 12, just go all in one team, try to win it. Man, I did not. When you first told me that we got
demolished
1, 2, 3, it was tough. Do you want me to give you another disappointment of people who ran the race?
Yes.
Okay. So I think you have to say Stanford men. Objectively,
yeah.
I picked them to win. I didn't think it was ridiculous. They had a really solid top 3. Now, one of those top 3 was not 100% in Cole Sprout.
Yeah.
Sucks. Unfortunate to have injury or illness or anything come up at this point of the year. It stinks. But with how well Hicks ran on Saturday and how well they had been running the whole entire year, I thought they'd be able to get it done. They scored 1, 10, 48, 67, 69. They end up closer to 5th than they were to 3rd. Like Wake was only 9 points behind them. They have to be disappointed, and I don't think it's a bad thing to be disappointed. I think most of these teams come out of this meet a little bit disappointed, usually because they're very competitive, and that's the whole reason why ultimately they're successful.
Stanford this year kind of reminded me of what happened to NAU in 2019. Have a great regular season, show that pure dominance is like there's no way. It's such a good top 3.
Yeah.
It's great. They're all young, too. And then they just held on to stay on the podium the same way NAU held on to at least finish 2nd because they almost finished 3rd. Like Colorado was a few points behind them back in 2019. So big, great regular season and then kind of very disappointing actual race final.
Yeah, and listen, I think they'll be back again. I mean, depending on who returns, there's no reason why they'll be worse. On the plus side, Hicks, first Stanford athlete, man or woman, crazy stat to win individual cross country title. Think about all the years you've heard about Stanford men's and women's cross country, but that was the big one. On the women's side, I didn't really see much. I mean, that was the podium that we thought. We talked about some teams surprising and moving up, but I didn't really see any like clear like, oh, this team came in ranked 3rd or 4th or whatever, and then finished outside the top 15. So you are one of the winners, though, or one of the losers. You're the winner of the loser award, Gordon. Congrats.
I mean, there were a couple of women who we had potentially be in the mix to like challenge Tui and Valby for the win. Like Kaylee McCabe finished 24th. No, I didn't see that coming. Aubrey Frenthawaite finished 32. She was like a potential top 10. So there were a couple like names. I was like, whoa, like I thought you'd be so. But that's cross country, right?
Yeah, I mean,
when you have 10 people, there's a chance 2 or 3 of them are going to have bad days, finish in the 20s, 40s, or have a Jenny Simpson type moment and finish 150th. Right? That's cross country for you. But yeah, there wasn't really any big shock on the negative side. I mean, it would have been like a shock if Tui or Valby didn't run the way they ran.
Mm-hmm.
Like if either of those finished outside the top 5, we would have been like, whoa.
They lived up to the billing.
Yeah.
It lived up to the billing. And like I said, the teams came and delivered there. Even a team like New Mexico, they did exactly what we thought they would do. They had the really, really tight spread, but their lowest score was 20, which was good enough to get them second, but not over the hump into, they need the Wayne Kaladi thrown in, the Edna Kerr got thrown in, the Alice Wright thrown in, and then the tight pack behind it. That's what's going to get them.
I have a loser for the women. The Big Ten.
How did the Big Ten do?
Their best Big Ten school finished 15th.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. Although, versus expectations, though, I'm looking at their rankings listed here.
Yeah.
Kind of measures up.
It measures up, but still, no Big Ten schools in the top 15. What about on the men's side? What was was there a conference that was kind of shut out?
I mean, future Big 12 did well, as Cole
Future Big 12 did well.
Go 2-3 there.
No, it's kind of, Wisconsin did their job to represent the Big Ten well. I'm trying to see if there's another conference. Big East. Yeah, so Big East on the men's side. I thought Villanova would run a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And they finished 19th. Butler was 21, and then Georgetown was dead last. So I'd say Big East men, Big Ten women were the disappointing conferences.
Yeah.
Didn't have a...
Pac-12 men, they go 4, 8, 14, 16. I think I have that right. Again, not surprising based on how they ran in the regular season, but you expect, there's powerhouse teams in there. There's traditional teams that you expect to be in the mix, top 5, top 10, that weren't there. But, if you figure Oregon's going to get it going here pretty soon, Washington will probably rebound. Colorado, we don't know what.
Yeah, Oregon was doing ab workout in the airport, because they were on our flight that was delayed. So they're already looking towards 2023.
Core cannot wait.
Core cannot wait for your flight delay. All right. So winners and losers. That's the cap on that.
Yeah, we done.
Everyone's a winner though, right? Everyone's a winner in our mind, right?
They all tried hard.
There are no losers. It was just a happy family of running.
You
except
lost.
me. I'm the loser, but I'll wear the loser crown. Okay.
Chat's the big winner.
Chat's big winner.
Yeah.
Do you know how many days away we are from the 2023 National Championships?
361.
Something like that. I don't know.
You didn't look it up.
I didn't look it up.
Let's keep rolling.
We have the official. Do you want individual or do you want team?
Either one. Let's go.
Okay, let's do individual.
We're doing both, right?
All right. So individual, the top 10 rankings individually. We're going Tui 1, Valby 2, Camille 3, Taylor Rowe 4, Kayla McCabe 5, Elise Stern 6, Bailey Hertenstein 7, Hilda 8, Natalie Cook 9, Olivia Markovic 10. Markovic.
You got to move Hilda Olamomoy up. I already talked about her. You got to move her up.
Yeah, but I put Kaylee McCabe back up there.
Got to move her up.
Kaylee McCabe deserves to be there.
This is going to be an interesting year next year because I think we still have the issues with COVID eligibility. I think a lot of athletes are done with school. We also have the potential of someone just has a huge breakout outdoor season and decides not to come back, right?
Yeah.
Like after Cross last year, would you have said Abdihamid Nur is going to go pro?
No.
Probably not. But then 3 months later, indoors, he's king of the world.
Okay.
And then you're like, okay, it's back on.
Do you think Tui or Valby will be back?
I think they will. I'm just allowing for that possibility that may not be the 10 people that are on. Or there could be someone who just moves on because they've exhausted their eligibility.
Well, these rankings will change over time.
Yeah. So your question is, what do I agree with? I would move Olamomoy up, but this is, I'm not going to argue with it. This was pretty much, we just saw this, so it's hard to pick against it.
Yeah. All right.
Men, let's see, Hicks, Young, Bosley, Klinger, Jacobs, Meyer.
So I think Jacobs still has eligibility.
Is this what you think, or is this just literally the top 10?
No, this is what I think.
Oh, okay. So you put no thought, or you put thought into this. You didn't just regurgitate the finish list.
No, I looked at this year's results, last year's results, and last year's track times.
Gotcha. Okay.
And being a returner.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Dylan Jacobs is going to come back. I think he still has eligibility, though. He has a 5th year. So we'll see.
Yeah, again, similar situation. So Hicks, Young, Bosley, Klinger at 4, Jacobs at 5, Mayer at 6, Stringos at 7, Blanks at 8, Wolf at 9, and then Kai Robinson at 10. I mean, the guy I look for to make a big move is Kai Robinson.
Yeah.
Because there's another alternate universe where Kai Robinson is the guy
with Hicks
up there. So I think I would expect Kai Robinson to move higher up. Bill says this is like ranking football teams in August. Yeah,
and they do that, so that's why we're gonna rank cross country
it'd be like
teams.
ranking football teams in January.
Yeah,
it? Like the season ends and then you get right into it. We just eligibility stuff has always been difficult between the 3 seasons, and sometimes there's a 5th year and there's a 6th year for medical hardship or Olympic year redshirt. There's all these other factors that go into determining eligibility that make it way less cut and dry than you think, and then you have the COVID year still impacting people. So. Teams, though. I want to talk about teams.
All right, top 4, start with men.
So
men is more obvious.
Listen, here's what I said on Saturday's pod. And I'll repeat it here again in case you did not tune into Saturday's pod, but you should tune into Saturday's pod. I'm never picking against NAU again. Not ever.
Even if they don't qualify.
They could decide that their sport is no longer varsity sanctioned. They could have 0 scholarships. If Mike Smith is still coaching the team, if it's a bunch of club runners, I'm picking NAU.
Okay.
That's my rule from here on out. Okay. What this proved this year was that the regular season was basically irrelevant. Yeah. We always knew that, but then NAU would dominate the regular season, and we'd say, all right.
It shows. It's indicative.
If you don't run well in Nuttycombe or pre-nationals or conference, you can't, you can't get it done in the day.
No, if your name is at NAU, you don't.
Yeah,
you don't win.
Clearly, he's figured something out. He's cracked some sort of code. I know the recruiting is great, but all these teams have great runners. He's got it figured out. He's got it dialed in. I'm not picking against NAU. If Nico Young goes pro, I'm not picking against NAU. If Drew Bosley goes pro, I'm not picking against NAU. If one of their guys decides to study abroad in Spain next year and he was a scorer, not picking against NAU. I'm just not going to do it. He's going to figure out a way to do it again. I felt ridiculous on Saturday picking against them. By 3K, when it was those two up front, Bosley and Young, and then I saw the team scores, and they were within 1 point of Stanford or BYU or Oklahoma State, whoever was started rotating. I said, "What have I done? How did I fall?"
You
for
were very
this
upset
again?
that I wanted to rank NAU number 1 going into the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all based off a fraudulent point that I thought Colin Salmon would be.
Yeah, the problem
best, but it turned out to be Santiago Prosser was that guy.
Yeah.
So I was just off by the person, but. Yeah.
I mean, again, everybody's going to bring everybody back. Can we put up, who do you have as top 4 then? Can we throw this up there? The team.
Well, don't reveal the other one.
Okay, well, don't reveal it. It's not that big of a secret. Can I say it? NAU 1, you have Oklahoma State 2, Stanford 3, BYU 4. So you have the same 4 teams because barely anybody loses anybody, right? That's the name of the game here?
So NAU loses 1 guy, OSU loses 1, Stanford loses nobody, BYU loses 1 or 2. BYU has the depth. Stanford, though, if the Young twins come in and are on fire, if Lex and Leo Young are coming in, and they're like, they add those 2 to their big 3 of Sprouts healthy. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they have a group of 5, and it looks like that Wisconsin team from 2000, what year?
Which year?
The Wisconsin team.
Oh.
Where they were just like, there's a group of 5.
Like the Mohamed?
The Mohamed year, yeah.
2011?
Yeah.
That's when
the year they won?
They beat Oklahoma State. Yeah. They stopped Oklahoma State's 3-peat. That was 2011. I think.
So that could be the thing where they stopped the NAU because they have this like crazy group of 5.
And they might. Again, fast forward a year from now or 11 months from now, it's like NAU hasn't won a meet all year. Everybody is. Stanford is coming off a season where they had 3 guys break 13:10 in the 5K. I will be on this show staring into that camera saying NAU is going to win this thing.
So yeah, NAU. I mean, now we just can never not pick NAU.
So Oklahoma State loses Rodriguez.
Yeah.
BYU loses Garnica
and Allen.
But Stanford, we don't know.
Loses nobody.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We don't. Yeah, because Charles Six might go pro.
Yeah. So when you win, that's going to be the conversation. All right, and the women's side.
This one I thought was interesting. So NC State is still the heavy favorite, the thing, because Marley Starlipper didn't even run, and she was potentially going to be one of their top 5. They could even throw in a Savannah Shaw, I think, technically might still have eligibility. I'm not sure, but they have so much riches going on there. They're going to return their top 2 if Tui doesn't go pro. So they're a lock. New Mexico, they return everyone, so they're going to be a lock for second. Alabama losing Mercy Chilanga, it's going to be hard to replace that. We'll see. But Colorado, I have right now in third. Colorado finished, what place did they finish? They finished 11th.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to return Bailey Urtenstein, who scored 4 points.
Yeah.
They were going to return Ella Barron, who is...
Johns Hopkins Blue Jay. Former
Blue Jay. She'll be in her senior year. She scored 25 points. And then, Emily Covert, who was 86 points. She's better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just had a bad race. So they have a good big 3 that I think might be able to rocket them into podium. Then Oklahoma State, they're going to be in the mix. They obviously return Cook and Rowe. And then Notre Dame, I put on the list because...
You ranked 5 here.
I ranked 5 because I think Notre Dame
Very
deserves
fancy
to
graphic
be...
here. I love this one.
Deserves to be in the mix of podium. So I put Notre Dame in there.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Colorado.
Colorado, obviously, a lot of stuff in flux. We got news over the weekend about an investigation going on into the program, allegations against the staff and the dietitian there, with former athletes speaking out about how the issues of body weight were managed. Should also mention a lot of other athletes spoke up, and I saw Joe Boschart this morning in support. Saying about how their experience wasn't indicative of what the allegations were that were leveled against them. So that obviously will have a huge impact, I think, as well. That's one of the off the track, off the course sort of stories.
Very true point.
But I think we'll probably be able to find more out about that in the next 3-4 months. But I just think we should mention that. New Mexico just feels like they're going to talk about formulas with Mike Smith. New Mexico has a formula too, right?
Yeah. What's their formula?
It's just, what's the formula?
Yeah.
Get 5 people within 11 seconds of each other at the national championship and run. I mean,
it's a good formula.
Not to say that they've never won, because they obviously have. The question is, can they get that low stick? You have to feel good about the rest of their pack coming along and being in a good spot. It's just a matter of getting that low number. But yeah, I agree. NC State has to go in as the big favorite.
Trying to see if there's any random transfer that's out looming potentially. I can't really find anyone. This is always
a transfer that's looming.
Someone who's they're graduating, they have 1 year eligibility for a 5th year, but they don't. They go. Happens all the time. People, the Ivy League guys and girls, they always transfer.
Yeah.
Joe's notorious for getting Harvard people, and so I guarantee you, Maya Ramsden is going to be on the 2024.
2023?
No, probably the 2024 New Mexico team. It's going to happen. That's just how it works. They're already probably already on the phone. That's what happens. And then random.
They're not literally on the phone.
No.
Okay.
But then and then there'll be a bunch that go to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Washington and New Mexico, they get all the Ivies.
Mm.
That's how it works.
Pipeline. Kurt on the chat mentioned he was the one who said hi to you on the bus.
Oh. Hey.
But he said he didn't say hi to me because he just saw you. But really, it was an ego blow for me and going against
Ryan. Yeah, you did tell me, he's like, dude, why does anyone say hi to me?
Why can't anybody mention me? Well, there was another comment in here I wanted to bring up. Oh, actually, we got an email during the show. Subject line engineers. This is from Steve. The D3 men's cross country championship champions, MIT, are the engineers.
Yes.
A lot of engineering going on in Division 3.
I was an engineer.
But then what
happens?
I
was a mechanical engineer.
But then don't try to be an Imagineer.
No.
Because guess what happens?
You
Disney doesn't call you back.
You become a podcast.
Disney loses your number.
Anyway. It's a good pod. Game has started. What's the score?
Well, I feel like someone would have given us an update. Is there breaking news on the score? We got another
0-0. 10 minutes in.
0-0. Let's get that up on the big screen.
39% chance that we win, according to the live win probability.
That's it? 39?
32% chance we draw.
Oh, I always forget about that in soccer.
Yeah.
Wait, we're not the favorite? We also got a good email from Tim in Virginia that we'll read next time about scoring concepts.
So
I should have said that. Winner, loser.
The tiebreaker?
Tiebreaker debate. I don't know if that's a win or a loss. but it certainly was a thing we talked about.
Yeah, I think the tiebreaker is great. You think it's not, but we also have different preferences of like food. Yeah,
Gordon is eating a lot of salad and these days. A lot of fruits too.
The fruits.
Yeah, you're like,
got some fruit bowls.
Yeah, usually like if there's a side option,
it's fries.
Old Gordon was fries and more fries. He'd order his meal would be fries, and then the side would be fries. Now he's
fruit bowl,
salad, and fruit bowl on the side.
Yeah, little berries. Yeah, it's great.
Berries.
All right, so we're not doing a podcast this week. We're going to be enjoying our Thanksgivings.
Yeah,
you're going to be with your family. I'm going to be with my friends. It's going to be a good time. And then we'll be back Monday, 12:30.
Back Monday, 12:30. We'll have Valencia Marathon coming up.
Yep. BU 5K.
Coming up.
A lot of top teams are going there.
We'll argue about the tiebreaker for most of December. I think we can put that down on the rundown. We'll read more emails if we get them. Read more comments.
And what's also going to be coming out soon?
The indoor rankings.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's waiting.
I'm ready.
Bated breath.
That's what I'm going to be doing all week over Thanksgiving.
Indoor rankings.
I'll be up there, be like, all right.
Football or football?
Both.
Okay.
Thanksgiving football. Come on.
Well, Black Friday, U.S. versus England.
That too.
That's what you need to be watching.
Yeah, but like Matthew Bowling, how many points is he going to score? Like, I'm already thinking about it. Like I can't sleep until I know if he's going to like triple or double or what's their 4x4 situation look like.
This is an
I got to figure it all out.
Interesting revelation there at the end of the pod. All right. We good?
I'm great. You good?
Yeah, Colt, we good?
What was your high and low of NCAAs? Go, quick. Just the experience, not like the results.
Weather was low. I just don't like freezing out there. The high was probably... You talking about the meet, or are you talking about
the experience?
The whole experience. I mean, actually, the low was the travel situation.
Okay.
That was bad. Having to spend a night in Dallas was no fun, and flying back in the morning. Going headlong into my daughter's sleepover birthday party with 3 5-year-olds at my house, in addition to my 2 other kids. Didn't get much sleep last night. The high. What was the high? The high was Kurt saying hi to you on the bus. Even though I didn't know it was Kurt, I just had a feeling that's a podcast listener.
There you go.
And it just, Gordon's head swelled up.
My head did not swell up.
Like, man, here I go. It's going to be a great day. No, I liked, we got to run in Tulsa.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, our hotel room was weird. We had themed hotel rooms. It was like a boutique hotel. We were on Route 66. And we had a cowboy-themed room. I should have sent the video to Colt. But it had a lot of over-the-top cowboy regalia in it.
Yeah, my low was I don't know. There wasn't much lows.
Well, that meal we had the first night was good too. Cafe
Cafe something.
Cafe
Ole.
Yeah, it was good.
No low. I don't have a low. My high.
Positive.
Low key. Was the delay of our travel because we spent the night in Dallas. And we ordered some pizza and we watched the UCLA.
Oh, the end of the UCLA USC game.
UCLA USC game. That was fun.
And then you left.
And then I left.
And then I stayed up because I couldn't really sleep.
And you watched more of the Oregon game.
I watched the whole Oregon game,
Utah
which
game.
was crazy.
That was fun. That was good pizza. I stole the hot sauce bottle from downstairs.
I brought it back though in the morning, and I took the whole pizza box out because I felt bad. The trash can was so small, I didn't want someone to have to deal with it. But then the one I brought it to was also small, so then I felt bad. I had to set it outside. And this was all like 5:45 in the morning. Bill says Lowe's, Kevin and Gordon getting spanked by the chat. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun because it proved just how smart you guys are.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
And the reason why you're smart is because we educate you.
No, that's not it.
So we're your true teachers.
I don't believe that. Just for the record, I don't believe anything he says. All right, thanks to Colt for producing. Have a great week, everybody. We'll be back next Monday, 12:30 p.m. Central Time, live on the FloTrack YouTube page. You can get it archived on the site or on YouTube, or the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.